Hi, this is Oscar here, the simple surgeon, talking about evidence-based medicine and the dangers of using or misusing it. Danger number 2, the fundamental error. Today I'm going to talk about the fundamental error of evidence-based medicine and the scientific method. In the previous episode, I told you that the scientific method is based on constructing an experiment and then running some statistical analysis of the results, the numbers that are coming out of the other side of this experiment. Now, the statistical bit of it is important in understanding the fundamental error of this method. I'm not saying the method is wrong. As I told you before, I'm going to make that disclaimer again. I love science, I love scientific method, especially when it discredits the myths that are just not true and improves the quality of care. But using it requires responsibility and the knowledge that I'm giving here, so you don't misuse it or harm anybody by using it wrong. So the statistical method is based on mathematics, and in normal situation in the mathematics, if something is more than 50%, it's more probable than the other. So the results are deemed positive, it's more than 50%. Now, for the medical sciences, this was not acceptable. Therefore, there was a consensus or an arbitrary level of confidence. So it's a 95% level of confidence. It was put on arbitrarily. This means that it was not proven that this is the right way to go. It was just assumed, and the word assume makes us of you and me, and this is the surgical way of understanding it, and assumes this is all right while there isn't. So any of you have read the results of statistical analysis in the medical field have noticed that there is that p-value there. It is slightly more complicated than I'm gonna say it here, but for the clarity of this image, let us say that if the value is less than 0.05, meaning it's less than 5%, this means that the level of confidence is 95% or more, and this statement that the researcher was trying to prove is right. Is it right? Well, it's right and it's wrong. There are two major problems with that. This is an arbitrary value. This means somebody has decided, and hands up who knows who decided that this is the way to go. But what does it say in simple words? Let's take an example. We're trying a new medicine for some kind of a disease, and we're trying to see if it is improving the condition of the patients. So the research says, yes, it is improving because p-value is less than 0.05. It may be 0.00 or 0.49, but it's less than 0.05. What does it mean in simple terms? It means that the medicine works right, so improves the condition of 95% of patients. It's more complicated than that, but in simple words, this is what it says. It improves the condition of 95% of patients. What's happening with the other 5%, or slightly less than 5%? Well, three things can really happen. It may also work. We don't know. It may be working in 100%. The research doesn't say. Well, if you read it carefully, it may actually say it worked in every patient. Usually it doesn't. So one way is it may work the same. It may work right and may improve condition. The second possibility is it doesn't work at all. So 95% of patients experience improvement. The other 5% does not experience improvement. It may experience nothing, or it may experience the side effects. There's a third possibility, and people often seem to ignore the possibility of existence of that third way. It may work opposite, so the 95% of people experience improvement and the 5% are getting worse. The research doesn't say that. So I'm not saying not to use the results of such research, but use it with humility, use it with distancing and a thought and intelligence and responsibility. Use it responsible. It works for 95% of patients, but it may not work for your patient because it is in the 5%. Now, the second major trouble with that fundamental error is by assuming that level of 95%, what happens if it is only 85%? What happens then? The result of the research will say there is no evidence. So we're trying the medicine again on a certain condition, and only 85% of patients experience improvement. The research may say, and in simplification again, the research will say there is no evidence of that medicine working. How do you know? It may be working for only 85% of patients, or 60%, or 50%. What does that mean? Well, it may be an excuse or an argument not to use it. But if this medicine has very low or no side effects, and it helps half of the people you give it to, or 85% of people you give it to, and the condition is severe, let's say the cure for cancer works for 50% of people. If it is with low side effects, why not to use it? Now, most of the treatment for cancer nowadays have severe side effects, including death. Therefore, it will not apply. By as a general rule, don't assume everything. Just say what it says. So it works for 85% of people. It may still be working. It may still be worth using, but the research result won't say it. If the scientist is enlightened in that way, responsible, intelligent, it will say it may still be worth trying. Let's do another research. Let's construct it in a different way so it shows the benefits. It will get you the right answer, but it may not, and you need to read your research very carefully. Now, another example from my own field. There was a time in my career when I used to meet about 100 to 150 new patients every week. That's between clinics and the inpatients, 100 to 150 new patients every week. That means there were 400 to 600 new patients every month. If I rely only on something that is giving me 95% of confidence, that means 20 to 30 patients each month will receive treatment that maybe doesn't work for them or works in the opposite way, harms them. Primum non nocere is the first rule of medicine. In the beginning, primarily do not harm. Therefore, there are certain situations where the research and the guidelines that follow should be followed strictly. And these are the emergency situations, quick situations when you don't have time for thinking, and the best result is achieved by strictly following the guidelines. But in all other situations outside of emergencies, use the guidelines wisely, knowing that they may only work for 95 patients out of 100 you see, and they may not work for the other 5. And if you see your patient is not responding to your treatment, think differently. Think differently and take into account that those guidelines and the research are not perfect because they have a fundamental error of arbitrarily started level of confidence at 95%. This is what I think, but I am just a simple surgeon. Thanks for today, and the next video will be on the other E's. So EBM can be for evidence-based medicine, but other E's are also there, and I'll talk about them in the next video. Thanks and goodbye.